let's play a game here. Why don't we play the game where you give me, so there's a step in here that I should have done. I should have said this is minus the cosecant of the arctangent of theta plus a constant. The most straightforward thing you can do is to say since x is the tangent of theta, that means if x, that means that theta is the arctangent of x. And so let's just put in theta as the arctangent of x, and that's what you get. So really what I just did for you was to show you a way to compute some trig function applied to the inverse of another trig function, right? I computed cosecant of the arctangent by this trick. So now let's play the game where you give me a trig function and an inverse trig function, and I try to compute what the composite is. Okay? So who can give me a trig function? Has to be one of these standard ones. Tangent. All right. How about another one? Sine. Sine? Do we have agreement on sine? Secant?
Going once. Going twice. So.
All right, CSC has the best cheer. All right, so that's the game. We have to try to compute that composite. All right? Something wrong with this?
That is just in terms of x, so would that be an acceptable final answer or not?
What does acceptable mean? Don't you think that, so the question is, isn't this a perfectly acceptable final answer? It's a correct final answer, but this is much more insightful. And after all, the original thing was involving square roots and things. This is the kind of thing you might hope for as an answer. This is just a nicer answer for sure. And likely to be more useful to you when you go on and use that answer for something else. Okay? Okay, so let's try to do this undo a trig substitution that involved a cosecant. And I manipulate around and I find myself trying to find out what's the tangent of theta. So here's how we go about it. I draw this triangle. Theta is the angle here. This is the adjacent, opposite, hypotenuse. So the first thing is how can I make the cosecant appear here? Cosecant of x. What dimensions should I give to the sides in order for the cosecant of x in order for theta to be the cosecant of x? This thing is theta. So that means that the cosecant of x. That means the cosecant of theta should be x. Theta is the arc cosecant, so x is the cosecant of theta. So what will I take the sides to be to get the cosecant? Cosecant is 1 over the sine, and the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So I get hypotenuse over opposite, and that's supposed to be what x is, okay? So I could make the opposite anything I want, but the simplest thing is to make it 1. Let's do that. And then what does that mean about the rest of the sides? Hypotenuse had better be x, and then I've recovered this. So here's a triangle that exhibits the correct angle. This remaining side is going to be useful to us, and it is square root of x squared minus 1. So I've got a triangle of the correct angle theta, and now I want to compute the tangent. of that angle. Well, that's easy. That's opposite divided by adjacent. And so I get 1 over the square root of x squared minus 1. Very flexible tool that'll be useful to you in many different times. Whenever you have to undo a trig substitution, this is likely to be useful.